Morning, everyone. Just want to provide an update to a situation we had yesterday that was, quite frankly, tragic, chaotic, and just downright unbelievable all at the same time. I think some of you were out there yesterday. It truly is a tragic situation and just a crazy world that we live in. This all started yesterday at about 3:09 in the afternoon when Shakayla Denson stole a 2007 Nissan Altima from a car lot at 5604 North 40th Street. And then things just unraveled from there. Witnesses say that they observed her forcefully push a child into the back seat of the car. One witness attempted to intervene and was slightly struck by the car when she fled the scene. At about 4 o'clock, approximately 50 minutes later, a witness said they saw Shakayla Denson exiting that same Nissan Altima near Rome and Eileen Street. And that is just at the river, the Hillsborough River, just north of Columbus Drive. Witnesses observed her forcefully remove the child, who ended up being Jariah, her daughter. Her daughter was 4 years old. She starts dragging Jariah by the arm and heads towards the Hillsborough River. Witnesses report that the child was screaming, and at one time, both the child and the mother were screaming. Witnesses say the mother grabbed Jariah with both arms and pulled her close to her chest as she waded deeper into the water. She walks out into the water. The water was then near her top of her shoulders, the mother's shoulders, when she released Jariah into the water. She then turned around, the mother turned around and headed back to shore, leaving Jariah in the water. Shakayla walks southbound on Rome, where she was detained at 2301 North Oregon Avenue by TPD officers. We were called and we were searching the river, and at 4:16, our search begins for her, where our divers go into the water looking for Jariah, or Jahia, I'm sorry. Our dive team locates her at 4:30. She's then delivered to Tampa Fire Rescue and rushed to St. Joe's Hospital. At 4:49 at St. Joe's, Jahira Daniels is declared deceased. At 5:50 yesterday afternoon, witnesses positively identify Shakayla Denson as the woman who dragged her daughter into the Hillsborough River. And then at 10:30 last night, she was charged with first-degree felony murder, aggravated child abuse, and grand theft auto. At this time, I'd like to thank Tampa Fire Rescue. I'd like to thank the witnesses that stepped forward in this tragic case, our TPD divers and the quick response and their quick actions and finding Jahira for us, and us, our officers out on the scene and the investigators that have put this together. I'd like to thank the state attorney, Andrew Warren. Andrew came out last night and has been part of this investigation from the beginning. He was on scene. And so it's a great partnership that we have with Andrew Warren, our state attorney, and he is very much affected by this just like the rest of us have. What kind of questions do you have?
Chief, I think one of the major questions everyone has is why?
Yeah, we're still digging into that. Unfortunately, when you deal with these tragic situations, we tend to have more questions than we do the answers. We're still digging into Denson and what her state of mind is. We have to be very careful what I say about her because we have to maintain the integrity of the investigation. Obviously, this is a tragedy that we're going to have to figure out what her mindset was that took her and put her in a place where she would leave a 4-year-old and leave her to drown in the Hillsborough River.
I know you have to maintain the integrity of the investigation, but was she under the influence of any?
That we don't know.
You were able to detain Shakayla pretty quickly. How was that possible? I know she was near the scene, but how did you know that that was the woman you needed to detain?
I don't have that information. I think we had a description from some of the people that saw it. It went down very quickly, and witnesses that called us, thank God they did. Where I feel for the witnesses, the sense of helplessness that they had. The river is very dark. You couldn't see. There's not much visibility, And so I feel for their frustration of not being able to help the young girl.
You touched on this a little bit when you said, Aaron, Andrew Warren is affected like all of us. Can you tell us a little bit about how this affected the first responders who arrived on the scene? I understand that some of them have their own children about this age. How did this impact everyone out there?
The whole thing is just unbelievable. And what I found in my career is, when I got the call about it, it just didn't sound right. And what I find in police work, the crazier the story is, the much more likely that it's true. It's hard to believe that somebody would steal a car with a child in it, and then leave them to drown in the Hillsborough River. And so I kept thinking, well, maybe it's a bag of garbage. Somebody didn't see what they thought they saw. The location is just north of here, so I was there, very quickly from getting the call. And so I saw the divers in there, and our diver, he was able to, when he found her, he brings her lifeless body out to shore and hands her over to fire rescue, and they take her into the ambulance and haul her off to St. Joe's. And I walked up to the diver and I said to him, I says, well, how old do you think she was? And he looked at me and he said, she's the same age as my child. So you can imagine what everybody was going through. And when you are a police officer, a firefighter, a first responder, and you have that reference point with the victim, I think it tends to affect all of us. Those who have kids who are in high school age, and you see the Parkland shooting, when you have a reference point for it, it really affects you. I felt for him right now. I thought about it last night. An interesting story with police officers, first responders. He pulls her out of the water at 4:30 in the afternoon, and his shift ends at 5:30. And we interviewed him, finding out he leaves because he has to go help his wife who has a flat tire. How do you go from pulling a dead child out of the water to go help your wife change her flat tire?
Have you ever dealt with Shaquilla before? Did she have mental issues? Was she ever Baker-acted?
We have limited experiences with her. We're not aware of anything like that. We still have a lot of digging through her background and finding out what's going on with what drove her to do this and everything.
Has DCF ever been called to her house?
I don't know exactly what the status of that was.
Chief, you indicated yesterday that your detectives were going to be reaching out to family, other close friends. That process was still ongoing. Are you getting a lot of cooperation? And is there anything you can share from what we've learned so far?
No, yeah, we are getting quite a bit of cooperation from people, from neighbors and things like that, and everybody is giving us as much information as they possibly can, but we still have a tremendous amount of information that we have to sift through, so there's not much I can add for that front.
Does any of that indicate that she may have been overwhelmed by the needs of her child?
I don't know, yeah.
Chief, do you know anything about a GoFundMe page that she had for the child?
No, I haven't heard that.
Has family confirmed that the girl had autism?
We're still sifting through a lot of that. Like I said, I don't know how else to describe it, but then, tragic and chaotic and just unbelievable at the same time. So, I apologize for not having more information, but there's a lot to dig through. You're dealing with, neighbors and witnesses that are emotionally charged in this type of situation, and so we're trying to be patient and really trying to sift through and put the whole case together.
Chief, you talked about the Hillsborough River being dark with no visibility. Can you clarify, did witnesses actually go in the water?
We don't know if they went in. It happened so quickly, and we had some of our first responders go in the water, but really it was the divers who went in with the equipment on and stuff. The water is not very deep, but it's very dark. There's limited visibility. And so that was the real issue. And so I do feel for the witnesses because they felt they were paralyzed by the whole thing.
I know you went into the water immediately when you started searching for her with the dive teams. Was there any sort of low issue before that? Because you weren't, like you said, you weren't sure that someone just missaw, didn't see her.
Yeah, we received the call about 10 to 4 from the witnesses out at the river. And at 4:30, that's when we located her. And so it's a 40-minute time frame. Our diver was in the water for just a few minutes before they found her. We were able to track where we thought she went down, and then they were able to find her closely from that. All righty, thank you.